So hello to all and welcome to our webinar. Today we have Professor Vlado Stankovski and Atje Gane, who will be leading this webinar. And having that said, I leave the floor to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Atje, for helping me prepare these slides for today. Hello, everybody in our consortium, all the third parties that are participating. Last time, as you remember, we were discussing the concept of the digital identity and to what extent it relates to the natural identities as we know them. And of course, our project is dealing with all the concepts related to the digital identity. And because of this complexity, there are also many emerging standards. And the standards that we are discussing in the project should be taken care of by the project partners. So what we actually have done is some sort of a discussion. So we would like to open a discussion within the project partners so that we better understand how your projects related to any aspects of standards. So this means that what we would like to see from your side, and we invite you to scan this QR code and access the Trustchain standardization questionnaire. It's also available to, if you like it as a web link, probably we can paste it in the chat. And it's about the standards that your project currently applies, so uses within the development work. Also standards that you have really considered to be using. And then if there are any activities, because we know that in some projects there are close relationships with technical groups in working on the development or updates of specific standards. So we are also inviting you to tell us your contacts or your contributions that you think about in the context of emerging standards. There are many different relevant working groups. So perhaps if in our project we are not completely aware of all of them, we would also be very much interested to get some feedback or input from your side. And if you have worked on any gaps of or missing standards that you think that would be really important to be introduced, is something that we would also like to hear about. So all the projects, your projects, interoperability and compliance needs are something that is of great interest to us. As you know, our project is progressing towards the introduction of very decentralized or even peer-to-peer type of solutions that are related to the digital identity, related to data exchange from the viewpoint of the digital identity, the use of advanced technologies and software, including, for example, artificial intelligence with a lot of aspects that concern ethics, the European regulations, and various aspects of interest to European citizens. Our approach is pursuing a bottom-up approach. So we have called 5 times so far for innovative projects in all concerning domains. And we know that from the viewpoint of the introduction of specific standards, standards can be introduced in two possible ways. One is the so-called de jure application of standards, which means that there is a top-down approach where a standardization body is leading the way of introduction of new standards that are of great importance to achieve interoperability and so on. And the other is the potentially de facto, which is the second way of introduction of new standards, which means any developments that are gradually accepted by the community and actually become de facto standards. So both ways are of interest to us. And in this presentation, I'm going to go through just to elevate our, how can I say, awareness of this topic, because on one side, technology could be really fantastic, but if it doesn't make it possible that people communicate through this technology, that people actually are able in our open society and environments be able to achieve because potentially other people or organizations or even governments are using completely different standards. It's something that should be of our concern. So our project is really a pan-European project. It has over 73 partners, and it's very important to us to now. We believe that we have such a pan-European coverage that all most important approaches to interoperability and standards are already captured within this huge group of partners and projects. So we would really like and be thankful to you that you copy this QR code and try to pay attention to exactly how you either use or you believe that there is a gap that needs to be filled in order to foster the adoption of the technologies of the Trustchain project. Also, when beginning with this presentation, I wanted to highlight the upcoming events. As you probably are informed so far, but if you're not, you're going to receive very soon an invitation so that you are also invited to participate in a physical event that we plan to have in February, part of these project activities, where you could also highlight your perspectives on how different problems of our European and the open society, the world open society, can be addressed by the projects in which you participate. And should you wish to partner with us within Trustchain and to sustain the results of the ongoing projects in the longer term by fostering or introducing actual applications in different domains. So, from the viewpoint of what we need from the partners is that we would like from you to nominate a person that we could contact related to the standards and maybe also even pose some questions or discuss with this person on the way how your project is taking care of this important topic. And then also maybe report which standards your solution uses or contributes to, then identify interoperability requirements and technical gaps, share relevant open source components that could be potentially linked to standards or that are linked to the use of various standards. And what we, of course, have to do as part of our project activity is also that we need to explain this approach also within the overall activities of the Trust Chain project. As I say, it's a very large-scale project, so it's an important topic that we need to approach it in a very well focused approach. As you know, the digital ecosystem of Europe is related to many activities, and the major topic of today and also tackled by upcoming calls of the European Commission, either in relation to pre-commercial procurement or to research and innovation, is related to specific digital technologies that would further promote the European open market. So this is data market or digital market, and this also is meant to support further integration of services. As we all know, the European research and innovation programs are perceived by scientists and companies and researchers as a great success so far. They have contributed to the open flow of people, services, data, and so on across borders, and that are meant to support very advanced scenarios that are actually very practical. Practical in the sense that allow movement of goods, services across European countries, and provide some sort of reference for many other countries that do not experience these activities for a higher, let's say, integration or openness of markets under specific something that we call it level playing fields. So altogether, it's really important that the introduction of technologies within the Trustchain project is following this agenda of European Union under common standards. And the common standards that are promoted by the Trustchain project are centered around the concept of trust. And trust within decentralized and peer-to-peer environments. So this means that what we want to achieve is a much greater empowerment of the European citizen. As you see nowadays, we are constantly also, I mean, Europe is being criticized from outside, but the European approach needs to be understood, and it's a bottom-up approach. And our project is one really a very great example of a project that focuses on the human-centered nature. And by human, we also associate and to the concept of trust, we associate also the concept of the self-sovereign digital identity and how to make it possible. So the contributions of all your projects in our Trustchain umbrella project are actually meant, and this is the major reason. And we are quite thankful to this program that we are capable of executing such a project that focuses really on the common value of the European citizen, and this means respect of human rights, respect of the environment, and many other aspects that are really in the core, in the heart of the Trust Chain project. So this is the way forward where we want to actually tackle also the necessary standards that need to be associated together with this introduction of the human-centered nature. So I hope I make it really clear why is the importance of this project and why it is so, how can I say, leading actually in the world potentially. It's because it's focused on the human by itself, on the values that we should and share as humanity through many various different charters, including the United Nations charters of human rights and including the European advanced approach to human rights. And now speaking about the concept of interoperability and where these standards are centered around. One set of standards that are really important and are, how can I say, a focal point in the project are related to the introduction of the digital identity. As we discussed in the last plenary, we also connected it to the real human identities. But now, of course, there are emerging standards. Some are, for example, the DID, notably, this is the world standard that is being currently introduced, and the standard of verifiable credentials 2.0, as you know. And then there are other standards that I'm going to discuss about, for example, SD-GWT, OpenID for verifiable credentials, and other standards. So we need to understand better, are they bottom-up or top-down approaches to the introduction of standards? But our vision is always clear, and the vision is advancing human and the human-centric nature of what we do. And it's our opportunity, part of this project and probably also many other follow-up projects, to really explain to the world how important this work of the project is. So, starting from these standards, anything else is actually also of the interest to the project. And of course, you know that there is this European initiatives that a lot of also finances or support has been put into, such as the European blockchain services infrastructure and the EU verifiable credential infrastructures, where it is assumed that various providers of trust services will emerge to help the creation of trusted ecosystems where either companies or physical people will be able to engage in various economic and other activities, for example, educational activities related to it. So our public administrations are meant to correspond or to also base services on such environments in the near future, and the value of that of EPSI is exactly because it promotes common infrastructure and common approach to security and to various standards. For example, it promotes the European learning model, the potential integration with the Europass CV, and things like that. Also, the registries, business registries, which means that companies in the future will be able to elevate their level of operation, digital operation, which would contribute to higher trust between the companies and between people, meaning humans, and the companies and the services that are being provided. For example, services and standards related to specific objects or services would come along potentially with specific verifiable credentials, would be amended with AI services and tools, which would be definitely more trusted than just and without cryptographic proofs of various kinds. And then we also have the concept of European data spaces governance, which is related to identity assurance, credential verification, and trust computation. So related to data spaces. And as you know, you have the emerging concepts of data lakes and so on. And these are emerging for various environments, including smart cities, smart homes, anywhere. So it's very important for us to be able to support from the viewpoint of our project with the digital identities and with the technologies that we develop, the emergence of such data, sectoral data spaces. And also from the viewpoint of cloud computing, as we know, security starting from the grids to the clouds to the now very great level of abilities or capabilities to orchestrate even AI services from the edge to the cloud, to the high performance data centers. It's actually something which is and can be supported by our trust solutions. So this is the overall picture of where TrustChain can contribute in the future. Our project is so definitely avant-garde from the viewpoint of how we treat and take to the heart this human-centered nature. So that's the important part of the project, and this is why we feel that even in the near future, technologies as developed in our trust chain, also past projects such as Onto Chain, Build Chain, EPSI Vector, and other projects would be able to contribute in the future in the emergence of European new digital services and also markets. Now, to be more straightforward, so we have a three-pillar diagram and the trust and how the project is contributing is, of course, on the interoperability, common technical framework for interoperability, which means also any technical services that are related to core interoperability concerns. Then is the trust services that could be also from the viewpoint of cryptographic trust or calculation of specific probabilities and so on, or trust models of how people and companies could then, based on cryptographic proofs, establish trust measures. And then, of course, it's the alignment of these approaches with European policies. And we should really note that in our democratic society, we of course want to have free speech. We of course want to have compliance with this level playing field that is actually leading to European policies. And this is how we want to actually approach in our project from this bottom-up approach. I cannot say it enough times how important it is from this viewpoint. So, speaking about the standardization domains of interest, and if there are other topics that are missing here, you're welcome to tell us which other topics or focuses we should add on. But of course, one aspect is this human-centric that I spoke about, then the actual trust and security of the infrastructures, and then the environmental sustainability of what we do, because we want to also show that we care for our environment, which in turns would actually provide a living environment for us as a species on our planet. And then, of course, all the open source components and software that the project is releasing towards the adoption of such interoperability standards. There are, from the viewpoint of trust and security, several key standards that are being used. You have on the DLT architecture and vocabulary. So if you like, we can go through in more detail in various approaches, but you are also welcome to explore yourself the definition of these standards. So you have ISO standards on reference architecture and terminology that is used in connection to DLT. Then in connection to security and privacy management. So you have all these, and then related to regulatory alignment, including the EIDAS 2 regulation, which is to be adopted with technologies and solutions by the end of next year. So our project is really very relevant because all the actors across Europe are going to really need the adoption of such standards. And within our project, we explore many various possibilities of how this can be used, including the interoperability of various wallet solutions. As we know, many wallets have their own, how can I say, exotic features. They employ various solutions and also have slightly varying use cases. So even achieving interoperability at such very well defined area and which is also in progress for over I don't know, 5, 6, 7 years from and led by the European Commission is not without any completely technical obstacles. So achieving this kind of interoperability, we had some tests and demos, for example, exchange of micro-credentials with the University of Bologna as an example. And we see that, again, the selection of different wallets is actually not completely straightforward. If one university uses one wallet and another university uses another wallet, and the use cases and the way how wallets are implemented is not exactly the best, does not provide exactly completely smooth interoperability. So the devil is always in the details, and we want to learn more from you if you know about any details about such wallet interoperability issues. And of course, related to this identity and credential standards. For example, aside from the DID and the verifiable credentials, which might need an update, and the Open ID for verifiable credentials. So OpenID for verifiable credentials, it's a very important emerging initiative. I mean, emerging for some time, but very important for sure, because it has the potential to be quite adopted. So we really would like to see all your projects establish your relationship towards standards such as these ones, or maybe some other standards that you might think of. And then if you go to the smart contract and token standards, including standards that are, because these are mainly related to the Ethereum network, but also could be thought of more widely. For example, when gateways between different networks are considered, or more domain-oriented applications of different ledgers. And then one needs to use token and other standards to establish interoperability, inter-ledger interoperability, and so on. So we have notably in the projects, in the ongoing projects, talked about various standards such as the NFT and the basic ERC20 standard, but also the semi-fungible tokens and the T-Rex standard 3643, but also maybe some other standards, and we would like to really better understand what you are doing in the projects. And then if I go further a little bit, there are also standards related to the user-centric nature. So how to design usable systems, how to define usability and performance for different user categories, and then user accessibility standards and software quality models, which means from the viewpoint of usability, of course. So in our project, as you know, we have a special partner that is taking care about the user centricity. And it's something really going to the core of the project, a very important aspect because of these reasons. It's not something that we just only want to address because it's fancy, but because we believe that, and as some people even outside the European Union are saying, we need to seize maybe the last opportunity for our humanity to really promote the human in the center. And this is why we are engaging all our energy in this project to highlight this and to contribute from technology viewpoint to this important agenda. And of course, from sustainability standards, there are also standards that are related to policy, planning, continuous improvement, also certification, which can lead to also certification of different cryptographic approaches and ledger technologies and things like that. Best practices for establishing green data centers and operational efficiency metrics, which are also important. So how to calculate how much our ledger technologies are actually, or our cryptographic approaches are actually adding to the environmental footprint. Um, to mention the very important aspect, of course, between usability and security. Of course, it's always in the balance because we know that there is a trade-off between these two approaches. So on one side, if we want a system to be more usable, then of course we need a little bit less security maybe. And if we want more security, then usually our systems are becoming less user centric. So these two approaches are really important, and we need to better understand how these relationships work within the projects. So I hope I'm still on time. Maybe if I'm not, please stop me or give me 5 minutes, Tayana.
No
Thank
worries, Vlado. You have plenty of time.
Thank you. And then there is this approach also to open source, because you see, if we want to achieve maybe a very great solution, we know even from the time of the emergence of the Windows system, is or maybe some other systems, I don't know. So if we want to make a great solution adopted, we need to also base it on open standards and open technologies. So, and this is something I learned early, at least in my academic career, when we discussed whether we should keep a certain approach secret and not publish it, or publish something in the open sphere of the scientific community. So if we discover something and we keep it for us, maybe nobody will ever learn what we have discovered. If we publish it, then maybe some people will read it, and maybe they will happily adopt the idea or the concept, and with this progress our society. So in this project, we are sure that we are making a lot of innovations, but it's also important that we can contribute our public implementations, maybe having a more permissive license could also help establish greater adoption. We know this MIT or Apache 2.0. I'm really fond of this license because it allows reusability of software at a much great level, and by this it keeps us in the play. So it keeps us maybe obtaining or progressing our work towards greater adoption, participation in more innovation projects and activities, establishing, great demo sites, and so on. So we would like to promote this really the most permissive licenses possible for all your projects, especially because of this. Our society is open, and this is how innovation and the creation of new knowledge, and how we could stay better in the loop is by. So it's maybe like a politic or policy that it's up to the projects to decide, but from the viewpoint of how things actually operate in real life is actually through really use of open standards and implementations. And also, if you look at from the viewpoint of cloud, you have this cloud native computing foundation, W3C, IEEE, and so on. So you're open while we discuss it and you look at our questionnaire. Please take your time so that you can actually put, how can I say, more thinking, into answering our questions. You're welcome to also come back to us even after this presentation, maybe after, I don't know, a couple of days, and reflect on what your project is actually doing and how you think that the interoperability should be solved for your technology to be actually adopted in the wider space. And of course, for those that are not completely familiar, you have different European standardization bodies, including ETSI and CENELEC and CEN. These are quite active. It's important. So I would like to really give you the idea of how things work. Even though it looks that these standard bodies are somehow detached, but from the viewpoint of the emergence, even of this human-centered internet initiative of the European Commission, it is since 2014 that groups such as our research group and other groups also part of this consortium promoted the emergence of an initiative called the Human-Centered Cloud. And this went through UN bodies and standard development committees. And these standard development committees communicated the need to different actors, not only in the European Commission, but also in other organizations. So these bodies are actually monitoring what is happening and are, even though it looks maybe somehow too technical and without maybe potential relevance, but it's actually where the relevance comes from. Because other bodies like the European Commission are actually working very closely with European and world standardization organizations. So to cut the long story short, but I think it's like really important to understand that our contacts, our sincere discussions or introductions or even provision of some sort of roadmaps and policy papers and related to interoperability and standards are not completely in vain. It's actually, even though the project is small, even though an organization might look like small, but our project is not even small. Our project falls, it's like a large scale European research and innovation project. So our project has the capacity to influence maybe not the exact definition of the standard, but the mindset and progress papers via standardization bodies to very important initiatives on the world stage. So please do not underestimate, this importance of how these activities are connected and work. And you have also other standardization bodies, including ISO, maybe OASIS is here also relevant, IETF and E2 and so on. You know, there are different standards, even currently being approached and regulated. I could potentially show you some. And then also what we have also contacts as a project are the European Blockchain Observatory and Forum, including some joint events that we had with them. And this initiative is not totally dead. It's like an important initiative having practically the overall landscape related to blockchain in Europe. So it's really something that one can rely on, speaking about expertise even in this domain. INADBA as a international association is also an important, and we've liaised in different occasions with INADBA um, including some events outside the European Union, like in this Expo Dubai and so on. And then C blocks, which is particularly related to the blockchain standardization. Then you have different blockchain working groups, notably W3C and the OpenID Foundation that I already talked about. And then other expected outcomes of Trustchain related to standardization work is the engagement with different bodies. It's the contributions to the different approaches to standardization, even through letters and policy approaches and so on. And the idea is to, of course, reinforce the European leadership in decentralized identity and the creation of a trust chain standardization related knowledge base. So I think and how Trustchain implements standards in practice. For example, we have the adoption of the DID, then the wallet interoperability, then the smart contract related standards, privacy and security measures, selective disclosure. Maybe I should open this in the end for you to see the selective disclosure approach. I think it's quite relevant, the Etsy Trust services profiles, and so on. I think you're aware of all this, but for you just to have an idea of the directions that we have been exploring, and then the gaps. For example, we have no mature standards for real-time trust scoring and dynamic reputation models, fragmented wallet protocols, standards for Oracle frameworks, inconsistent definitions of interoperability and cross-chain identity, limited guidance on sustainability metrics for blockchain infrastructures, and the need for shared semantic models for verifiable data. These are all very important approaches and necessities. And we have been also in touch with different working groups or partners of our consortium. And we would like to hear from you if you have any other, or maybe you already contribute to any of these activities that are mentioned here. So please go ahead and tell us about it. Also speaking from the viewpoint of the protocol suite, how our project is driving towards specific necessary protocols that could be used in the future to achieve interoperability, interledger exchange, and things like that. All this is like really very important, and we spoke about, I think, already. So I would like to thank you at this point, because I spoke quite a lot, I believe. And please now, if you like to reflect on this presentation, you're really welcome. You're welcome to write to us, to me, if you like, and we could also discuss things as it goes. And you're also invited to our final events in February that we are going to announce very, very soon, to discuss how to take our ongoing work forward for new calls, new projects, as in a form of or under the trust chain. How can we say, brand? So thank you, and feel free to reflect on this. Thank you. I think it's amazing. I would also again like to thank Atia for helping prepare this presentation.
You're welcome.
And I think the most important message is that this kind of activity must be open to the widest possible public. So we're really happy that everybody who likes to join our initiative as a Trustchain project is actually joining us and promoting the project everywhere as how can I say, a blueprint for what human-centered internet should be, and how trust should be established, because it's on the for the benefit of not only applications, and it doesn't only provide added value, but the added value is in the highest possible quality we can provide to the European and citizens and society. Thanks.